Blackish, Spec, by Tammy Caplan. Cold open, montage. Photos of 1925 Ku Klux Klan rally in front of the U.S. Capitol. Iconic image of white high school girl taunting Little Rock 9 black girl walking to school.
Before Jim Crow laws were abolished, it was easy to spot a racist. They were in your face.
Exterior Dre's neighborhood block day. Dre walks up to a house with helium balloons tied to a for sale sign announcing an open house today.
But most racists today act pretty subtle. So subtle, they might not even know they're racist. But I can detect them. I've got Raystar.
Interior open house, living room, kitchen, later. White prospective buyers look around. Dre spots Janine sitting at the sign-in table.
Dre, what brings you here? You've popped out so many kids you need another house?
No, I'm here for the free cookies.
Oh, you poor thing. Your food stamps don't cover that?
Janine, my wife's a doctor.
Oh, right. And no one wants to go to a doctor who specialized in affirmative action. Oh, I feel you. Times are tough for me, too. My stupid divorce costs a fortune. But I went to real estate school, got my license.
A white couple approaches Janine, waving for her attention.
Dre, watch the cookies for me. You don't mind being the help, right?
Dre scowls and mutters to himself as he heads to the kitchen.
Be the help, huh? Help myself to all your cookies.
Dre peeks into the oven. His attention gets diverted by Janine showing the white couple the living room.
This is the first house on this block to go on sale in ages. It's in perfect shape. Imagine bundling up in front of this cozy fireplace on a cold night. Even with global warming, that might happen again.
Dre snorts at the sales pitch. He sees a young black couple enter. The wife is pregnant, and the husband pushes a stroller with a baby. Janine guides the black family up the staircase.
Usually nothing tears me away from cookies, but the thought of a black family moving next door turned me into the Fiji water girl at the Golden Globes red carpet.
Dre grabs some free water bottles and heads upstairs. Interior open house, upstairs hallway, continuous. Janine and the black couple don't notice Dre lingering awkwardly nearby, grinning with water bottles.
This house looks nice, but the pipes need lots of work. Like Flint City lead in the water work? But call me tomorrow. I have a great listing in Baldwin Hills.
Dre's smile drops. Interior submarine control room, fantasy. Dre, in a sailor's uniform, tracks a radar system scanning around Janine's face. A red blip appears on her mouth as it speaks the words, Baldwin Hills. An alert above blinks in red. Raystar! Dre types on the console, Baldwin Hills.
Captain, decoding Baldwin Hills.
The words on the monitor scramble into Black Beverly Hills. End of cold open. Act 1. Interior open house, living room, kitchen, day. As the black family bolts, a teed-off Dre chases down Janine.
You lied about the lead in the pipes and steered that family to Baldwin Hills.
I didn't want to make them feel bad just because they couldn't afford this place.
How do you know that?
They told me their price range.
Mm-hmm. That man was wearing Golden Goose Superstars.
Suspicious, Dre heads to the front door.
You want me to be the help. I'm guarding the front door and making sure a black family buys this house.
Sound effect, the loud beep of the smoke alarm.
You couldn't even guard the cookies.
Janine runs to the oven and opens it. Smoke billows out. She takes out the cookies. They're burnt to a crisp. Janine climbs on a chair and pushes the off button, but the alarm keeps blaring. Prospective buyers flee. Dre dashes for the front door, calling back to Janine.
We're not done, but ever since Birmingham, black people don't like big fire hoses pointed at them.
Interior Johnson home, kitchen, later. The fire alarm's still shrieking. Bo slams the window to reduce the noise. Pops reads the newspaper as Dre gloats.
Dre, I can't believe you tried to burn the house down because Janine said no to a black couple.
She turned away black people. She got black cookies. That's karma. I'm getting another black family on this block.
There's no reason for you to be playing real estate agent.
Bo, I get this gnawing feeling like the neighbors are always watching us, waiting for us to screw up so they can rush us out of town with pitchforks. Having another black family on the block would make me feel safer.
Just because you get feelings from our neighbors doesn't mean Janine is discriminating.
There goes your wife's white side kissing Janine's butt. You're married to the cowardly compromiser, Booker T. Washington.
I know Janine's about as woke as a white sloth, but she never means any harm.
But now that sloth's a real estate agent with the power to affect lives. You know what happens when racists become leaders?
Pops folds his newspaper, showing Trump on the front page.
If you want to get another black family around here, you got to set Janine straight.
Junior and Jack come in and pull out all the fruits and vegetables from the fridge.
Dre, leave Janine alone. Don't mess with her new career unless you know for certain she's discriminating against blacks.
Boys, how about leaving some for the rest of us?
I'm now the official smoothie maker of Junior's new business.
Junior's only business has been bumming off this family during his gap year.
True, but I can now visualize what I'm going to be. A life coach.
Bo gives Junior a big mom squeeze.
Oh, you mean you'll get your PhD in psychology, right? It's one of the lesser sciences, but I'll accept it.
Nope. I will follow in Uncle John's footsteps and work for my inner truth.
Disappointed, Bo breaks the hug and pouts.
Junior, your truth is to have no life skills or life experience.
This is your fault. I thought a gap year was bad. But this crazy idea of his is so white, he should bid on the house next door.
I'll admit, I need to start a pro bono client. I need to start with a pro bono client.
Black people don't do pro bono. Working for free is called slavery.
I need my first customer, and I've found just the person. A man my age who was left alone on the curb by his dad.
What horrible father would forget his son on the side of the road?
Interior Charlie's home, living room, same. Charlie plays video games. He stops and looks around puzzled.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Charlie resumes playing video games. Interior Johnson home, kitchen, same. Jack grabs the blender.
Charlie's son Eustace is your first client?
That's correct. Eustace has his first job interview, and I'm going to teach him how to ace it.
If you want to run a business out of my home, you need to cough up some business rent. You better get Eustace that job so he can pay you.
Fair enough. In return, please keep one of the other tenants in this building away. Diane.
She's swamped with English homework. You won't see her.
Whew. At first, Eustace wasn't going to come here. He's heard Diane's a death warrant for his dad. Seeing Diane could have triggering effects for Eustace and derailing his budding development.
Junior and Jack leave with the blender, veggies and fruit.
That boy has any development.
Interior Johnson home, Junior and Jack's bedroom, day. Junior teaches Eustace as Jack blends a smoothie.
Alright, lesson 1. Staying calm.
The blender word draws out Junior, who screams at Jack.
I'm molding a mind here!
Jack turns off the blender and rolls his eyes.
Alright, now, even though your interviewer is a woman,
Eustace shudders.
and you're terrified of women and horses, I know a role-playing game that will give you confidence. Here, name a character you've admired.
Papa Smurf?
A wise blue man, but pick someone more adventurous.
Aragorn's my favorite Lord of the Rings character.
Perfect. Imagine you have his sword. Unsheath it.
Eustace half-heartedly pulls out an imaginary sword.
Now say something like Aragorn might say. Really channel him.
Eustace stands and opens his mouth, but an unintelligible gurgle catches in Eustace's throat. He slumps down.
I'm just a golem. The internet quiz, what Lord of the Rings character are you, told me so.
It said I was a female hobbit, but I will not be defined by sponsored clickbait. Today, you have royal blood. Feel the power. Claim your throne.
Eustace rises and in a remarkably good impression, complete with a British accent worthy of a BAFTA award.
A day may arrive when a man's courage fails, and we forsake our comrades and shatter our bonds of fellowship, but not today.
Jack and Junior are floored.
Wow. You sound like a real English person. How'd you get so good?
My dad leaves me alone in front of the TV a lot. The ABC's my favorite. I never miss a costume drama.
Me neither. No, I've got a Google alert for the Downton Abbey movie. I'm very impressionable when you're taking away my masculinity.
Since I am the only child in this family with the intellect capable of supporting you in your old age, my study time demands absolute silence. Don't turn to me and wail, "Diane, help me!"
Eustace rises and unsheaths his imaginary sword.
When you've been abandoned in a nursing home.
Eustace speaks in the most elegant British accent.
You're Diane.
Jack and Junior rise to interfere, but Eustace holds his hand out to stop them.
I've been told you are a witch, a monster, the devil herself, but you are none of these. All I see is a selfish, insolent, thoroughly unhandsome little girl filled with an excessive amount of self-flattery.
Diane's jaw drops. She's speechless and slowly backs out of the room. As the door closes, Eustace smiles at the guys.
When I spoke with a British accent, I wasn't scared anymore. You're the most awesome life coach ever.
This is the career for me. Am I really going to be abandoned in a nursing home?
Interior Johnson home, hallway, moments later. Diane stands in a trance with the biggest grin on her face. Beau passes by with laundry.
Diane, please tell me that smile is from eating Chunky Monkey and not booby-trapping your brothers.
The guy in Junior's room? He's the smartest man I've ever met. I can tell by his voice. I'm gonna marry him.
The guy in... You mean Eustace? Charlie's son?
Diane's face has never had a greater look of horror.
I'm in love with the son of my sworn enemy?
Interior Johnson home, family room day. Dre pulls a landline phone out of a box and plugs it in.
If my Raystar was right, and Janine was discriminating, it was going to be really hard to get a black family to move in next door.
Dre walks the phone over to Beau, reading on the couch.
I'll prove to you I'm right about Janine. Here's a number she won't recognize. Ask to see the house.
He hands her the open house flyer and she dials.
We still have a landline?
It's for emergencies. When the big earthquake hits, we'll be the only ones who can order takeout.
The only emergency is we're still paying for a landline. Hi, is this Janine? I'm calling about the house on Stansbury. It's in my price range. Any offers yet? None? Oh, great. Thank you. I'd love to come see the home.
Beau smirks at Dre triumphantly. She kicks back on the couch.
Are there any hair salons in the area that cater to black women? Because I am a very black woman, one with very black hair. No? That's okay. Well, what time should we meet? I thought you said you didn't get any offers. You made a mistake? I see. Well, I'm sure the owner wants multiple bids. Oh, he's already accepted? No, I don't want to see a house in Baldwin Hills.
Outraged, Beau hangs up the phone.
Now I remember why I like landlines. You can slam them.
She lifts the phone and slams it again. End of Act 1. Act 2. Interior Stevens and Leto, boardroom day. Dre hands out open house flyers to Stevens, Josh, and Charlie.
Beau is now on board with me getting a black family next door, but I still had to change Janine's way of thinking. I had great material, but I needed someone to test it on. My co-workers. We only have 2 minorities on our block. Us and the Persian family.
Whoa, 2 is diversity. 3, that's ghetto. If black people worked as hard as they did when they were slaves, they could afford better housing. It's their choice.
It's not by choice. Let me tell you.
Dre, I live in a black area. I should take this one.
Animation. A white mob surrounds a home with a black family peeking out the windows.
Housing discrimination got bad in the late 1800s. That's when the lizard people showed up.
White people's heads morph into lizard heads. Interior Stevens and Leto boardroom, same. Dre looks at Charlie incredulously.
You do not get to tell the history.
I tell the real history. If white people aren't lizards, tell me why the leader of the Ku Klux Klan is called the Grand Dragon.
Ignoring Charlie, Dre educates the others.
From the late 1800s to the 1960s, black homeowners were forcibly made to leave their homes because of violent white mobs.
Animation. The white human mob raises pitchforks at the black family who flee their home.
Or they were threatened with violence if they didn't sell their homes.
Animation. 2 white hands shaking.
Real estate agents made pacts not to sell a home to a black person in a white neighborhood.
Image. Jackie Robinson.
Even the great Jackie Robinson was denied permission for years to move into an all-white town.
Animation. A black family looks outside their home cautiously. Around them pops up a homeless shelter, a garbage dump, and prostitutes. A car with a white family drives by and shakes their head no.
White people created zoning laws that put homeless shelters, trash dumps, and strip joints in black neighborhoods, making white people even more unwilling to buy houses in those areas.
Footage. LBJ signing the Fair Housing Act.
In 1968, the Fair Housing Act forbid discrimination based on race, but by that point, the damage to our nation had been done.
Animation. A white dad picks up his house and hands it to his white son. A black dad hands his tiny house to his black son and shrugs.
White families inherited wealth, passed down through generations of home ownership. But if a black family If a black family had a home, it wasn't worth as much.
Animation. A white guy in a fancy car passing a black guy on a tricycle as they race towards a perfect suburban home.
It's hard to get to the finish line of the American dream when you've been given a tricycle and the guy next to you is driving a Porsche.
Interior Stevens and Leto boardroom, same. Stevens nods thoughtfully.
Wow, Dre, you made me see this issue in a whole new light. Horrible mistakes have been made in history.
Dre swells with pride. He got through to them. Then,
I hate that I have to drive across town to get to my favorite strip joint.
At my strip club, I get a discount for the locals. It's like Disneyland.
You see, it costs more to be white.
Guys, did what I say mean nothing to you?
I don't understand why black people would want to live where they're not wanted.
That's because there's no place where white people aren't wanted.
Listen, Dre, if you want to change your real estate agent's mind, you need to present an exceptional black family to her. Someone like Clarence Thomas or that Carlton Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I love Carlton. I know the whole Carlton Tom Jones dance.
Josh leaps to his feet and shimmies. He does the splits and can't get up.
Ah! Very painful.
Exterior Janine's house, night. Dre knocks on the door. Janine opens it and yelps as she sees behind him a well-dressed black mom and dad in their 50s with a preppy teenage son and daughter.
Oh, hello, neighbor, with many people who look like him outside my door late at night.
I found the perfect family to live on our block.
You found them?
He infiltrated my Harvard Law dinner, where I was speaking.
And discovered you have tried and won cases before the Supreme Court. Her husband invented a new cancer treatment for which he has a lucrative patent. Janine, I dare you to say no.
Janine grabs Dre's hand and pulls him inside. Interior Janine's house, continuous. Janine closes the door on the perfect black family.
Gosh, I wish I could help, but my hands are tied, like your ancestors. I've been instructed by our HOA to, preserve the good cultural mix going on here. Why change it?
Because it's not 1950 Alabama. You should have told them that's discrimination.
I see things differently as a realtor.
You've been a realtor for 5 minutes.
It's the most basic principle of real estate, BMW. Not the aspirational car. Black neighborhood worth less than mixed neighborhood, worth less than white neighborhood. You're in the white neighborhood.
B less than M less than W scribbled on the screen underneath Janine.
Don't be race-splaining to me.
Dre, we all need to work together to keep up the value of our homes. You especially have had to work so hard for your kids' futures. More than us, because...
Janine rubs the skin on her face.
You want to throw that all away?
Dre thinks, torn, then swings open the front door and points to the family.
This black family will not bring the financial apocalypse. I'll show our HOA what BMW really stands for. Bayerish Motorin Working.
Everyone stares at him.
I'm in advertising. I know these things.
Interior Johnson home, master bedroom, night. Beau makes the bed as Diane paces nervously.
I can't be in love with Eustace.
Diane throws herself on the bed, messing up the sheets.
Oh, Dee Dee, you're sharing your crush with me. Oh, I knew we were besties. Now we'll be watching award shows together and...
Mother, your failure to logically deconstruct a crisis astounds me. This is no crush. Our relationship is a foregone conclusion. I will stay in love with Eustace until I'm 18, at which time our age difference will not be frowned upon by society. We will marry, which means Charlie will be coming over every holiday.
That thought sinks into Beau and repulses her very soul.
We have a crisis.
I've met my Waterloo, defeated by his beautiful accent. Mom, you have to get Eustace to leave the house.
Accent?
Interior Johnson home, Junior and Jack's bedroom, moments later. Jack, wearing a mop on his head and speaking in a woman's voice, sits opposite Eustace in a mock interview as Junior instructs.
Eustace, your resume says you played soccer. How many O's are in the word goal?
Beau swings open the door.
Time for Eustace to go home.
Mom, I have a contract to fulfill. Eustace has been promised coaching and a computer for the interview in my bedroom. I mean office.
Eustace twirls his invisible sword with a flourish and addresses Beau using his British accent.
Mrs. Johnson, thank you so much for welcoming me into your charming abode.
As soon as Beau hears the accent, her eyes glaze over.
I respect that a family requires its privacy, and it is time for me to take my leave.
Bo is charmed like a snake.
Stay, Eustace, as long as you like.
In a daze, she slowly backs out.
I like the way you says privacy.
Junior and Jack share a look of victory. Interior, HUD office. Day. Dre fills out government forms and brings them to Marcy, a lethargic white worker who reviews them.
My HOA was not going to put me in a position where I had to sacrifice my children's financial prospects for my ideals. But if I was going to take on a whole HOA, I needed help. So I filed a complaint with the Sherman Oaks branch of HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Office. I feared my case would be handled by some do-nothing government drone who just files her nails all day.
Marcy grins. Her demeanor changes to overly excited.
Thank you for filing a complaint.
Marcy rings a bell.
It's on, people.
Workers spring to life like a troop preparing for battle.
I've been training my whole career for a day like today. Andre Johnson, you're a hero.
I was hoping to keep my name anonymous through all this.
No, you deserve to be recognized. We're going to make your HOA and this realtor, Janine, the poster child for racial discrimination. By the end of the day, the whole country will know what a backwards, racist, horrible area Sherman Oaks is.
I wouldn't say horrible. We have those electric scooters.
When I'm done, you'll have way more than one black family on your block. We'll be able to zone for a homeless shelter.
No. Listen, Gloria Allred, I appreciate your dedication to public services, but...
Trust me, brother. I can help. We've got a slogan around here. We're just keeping it real. A state.
Oh, that was painful in so many ways. Dre winces.
Where do I file a complaint about my complaint?
Interior Johnson home. Junior and Jack's bedroom. Day. Eustace sits in front of the computer. Jack and Junior sit out of the computer camera's view. A white, stern HR woman, Pamela, comes on screen and gives Eustace a side eye.
Ah, Eustace Telfy. I need to start right out and tell you that we received a flood of highly qualified candidates.
Eustace opens his mouth to speak, but only a peep comes out.
Eustace, use the voice.
Eustace wields his invisible sword with a mighty flourish.
Did you just flip me off? Doesn't matter. The position has already been...
My lady, I look into your eyes and see fear that might take the heart of me.
Pamela gasps.
You're British. I didn't realize. Have you considered a management position? Did you go to Oxford or Cambridge?
Hogwarts?
You're hysterical. That's Cambridge humor if I ever heard it.
Interior Johnson home. Diane's bedroom. Later. Diane sits on the bed next to a lost, hypnotized Bo.
More powerful than hashtag black girl magic is hashtag black British boy magic.
Since you failed to perform your maternal duty to protect me from bad influences, I must get rid of Eustace myself.
You can't. He's like Idris Elba, the Black James Bond. We're all just his money pennies.
Diane pulls out earbuds and puts them in her ears.
Like Odysseus' army facing the sirens, I will plug my ears. But instead of beeswax, I'll use Beyonce.
Diane cranks up the volume on Formation. Interior Johnson home. Junior and Jack's bedroom. Later. Diane bursts into the room yelling as Eustace is being interviewed.
I'm immune to your phony accent, you despicable heathen, you ignorant...
Jack leaps up and covers her mouth. Diane's eyes fume.
Stop it. He's being interviewed.
Did I just hear yelling?
Just a child frolicking outside.
Diane's music is so loud, it bleeds through her earbuds.
I hear music. Are you seriously playing hip-hop during an interview?
Apologies, madam. I've taken in some orphans.
Junior grabs Diane's phone and turns off the music. Diane can now hear Eustace's British accent.
Allow me to expound upon my many accomplishments and skills.
Diane swoons at the sound of his voice.
Oh yes, please do.
My first position landed me at an establishment of Celtic ancestry called McDonald's.
I want your lips.
I beg your pardon?
Pull Diane out of here. I'll drown out Eustace's voice.
Diane reaches longingly for Eustace. Jack and Diane have a tug of war while Junior turns on the blender. It whirs loudly, but the top isn't tight and the smoothie explodes, covering the interview screen. Junior wipes smoothie from his monitor.
Hi. Hello, I apologize for that.
What's going on? Are you one of the orphans?
I'm Eustace's life coach.
Really? I ask applicants what their biggest weakness is, but I see Eustace's right in front of me.
Crestfallen, Junior licks smoothie splattered on his face. Interior Johnson home, foyer, night. Bo attacks Dre the second he steps in the door.
Did you do something to piss off our HOA?
Of course not. I just filed a teeny-weeny complaint about the racism over at HUD.
They retaliated by sending a list of transgressions our family has committed since the time we moved in. It's longer than a CVS receipt.
Bo unfurls a giant list. Pops comes in with an envelope.
Our neighbor just taped this to your door.
Dre opens it and reads.
Due to the Johnson family being in violation of their HOA agreement, they are hereby ordered to move out of the neighborhood?
Dre looks up, embarrassed. End of Act 2. Act 3. Exterior Janine's house, night. Dre and Bo knock on the door.
You've caused enough damage. I'll handle this.
An irritable Janine answers.
Hi, longtime neighbor, fellow mom.
Can't help you fight the HOA board.
But you're BFFs with them. You bring them seasonal coffee to all their meetings, and you're such an experienced and respected realtor.
Because your husband tattled to HUD, my real estate license has been suspended. How am I going to pay my mortgage, fellow mom?
Janine slams the door. Dre yells through the door.
The board should fine you for bringing pumpkin spice lattes in August.
Exterior Johnson home, backyard, night. Pops pours himself a scotch as Dre sits next to him.
I've really blown it, Pops.
I told you to confront Janine, but you were too scared. You asked your wife, your co-workers. I'm surprised you didn't ask Devante.
I wasn't scared. I went to HUD.
You went to hide. You hid behind HUD because you were still scared. The truth is, deep down, you don't want another black family on the block. You know why? You've been assimilating since you moved here. You being the only black family makes you feel successful. You love it. You become their pet Negro.
This horrifies Dre. Interior Johnson home, living room, night. Pop. White neighbors at a party gather around Dre.
Who's up to see me break dance?
They cheer as he spins on the floor and hurts himself. Exterior neighborhood sidewalk day, Pop. Janine pats Dre on his head as she whispers to a neighbor.
We love Dre. He's one of the harmless ones.
Interior submarine control room, fantasy. Sailor Dre looks in horror at the radar beam spinning around his own face.
Like I said, sometimes racism is so subtle, you can't even tell you're being racist. My race star was going off, and it was pointing at me.
Exterior Johnson home, backyard, same. Dre breaks out of his nightmare.
You're right. I'm their pet Negro. I misbehave, and they send a shock to my collar. But no more. I'm like Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense when he figures out he was a ghost.
As Dre races out.
Oh, son, why'd you ruin it for me?
Interior car, moving. Exterior sidewalk, day. Junior drives with Eustace in the passenger seat. Eustace speaks in his British accent, now grating on Junior's nerves.
My home is at the end of the road. Rest assured, once I've found gainful employment, I shall pay you for your services.
You've paid me by turning my sister into something out of Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Diane in the back seat longingly stares at Eustace.
I simply can't understand why you want to toss your life coaching career in rubbish.
Because I've got you using words like rubbish.
I rather like this new me.
Junior pulls over where Charlie loiters. He rushes over.
Eustace, why are you in this car? This car is so clean. I knew I forgot something. A car wash.
Charlie looks at the back seat and spots Diane. He frowns.
Diane?
A beaming smile washes over Diane.
Charles!
She leaps out of the car and hugs Charlie. Never have Charlie's eyes bugged out in more utter confusion.
Can I call you Dad? I plan to become the dutiful daughter who takes care of you in your old age.
Charlie extracts himself from Diane and fearfully assumes the fetal position. Eustace addresses him in his British accent.
Father, I do beseech you to make amends with Diane here. Why the hell are you talking like that? You want the guys around here to beat you up? Cut that out.
Humbled, Eustace goes back to his American accent.
Bye, Junior. See you around. Diane?
Hearing his regular voice, Diane snaps back to normal.
Ew, that's your real voice? You're so common. I'm not into you. Now I have two people to make miserable. Farewell, Charles.
Don't come back, wicked hell spirit.
Interior HOA meeting room day. Dre and Bo speak to the HOA board, a group of white people.
In The Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment's mom didn't believe he could see ghosts until he proved it to her. and none of you believe you act racist. But I'm going to prove it to you.
It's ridiculous that Dre and I even have to be here. It's time white people start calling out other racist white people.
A board member, Becky, whimpers white guilt tears and throws dollar bills at Bo.
I'm sorry. Here's reparations.
My wife's not a stripper.
Bo puts the bills into her bra.
We're not moving out. I just planted a herb garden. I was gonna make you all caprese skewers at the block party.
Okay, don't scare them with your skewers. We're going to run a focus group.
Dre holds up an iPad and scrolls through photos of a broken down town with crumbling buildings.
Anyone got a guess about the color of the people who live here?
A sophisticated HOA member, Elizabeth, raises her hand.
I'd say African American.
You mean black? How do you know?
Waze sent me into a bad part of town. There were black people everywhere. I started screaming. Then my children started screaming.
Who believes all places that look like this have black people in it?
Everyone raises their hand.
This town is Laramie, Wyoming. 85% white. You all associate poor areas with crime and black people. Your parents made the same assumptions, as will your kids. You think if black people move here, they're bringing crime with them?
But our family bought a doctor, an advertising executive, and Diane.
The truth is, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, white people are more likely to be killed by someone of the same race. Black people won't bring crime into this area. They'll bring diversity and salt shakers.
Ooh, I can coordinate a ghetto-themed welcome party.
Just bake a pie. Like all of you, I don't want the value of my house to go down. But there's something more important than the cost of your child's future home. It's who your child becomes. They will become the corporate and political leaders of the future, and you're not exposing them to other cultures. They'll grow up seeing people of color as something to be feared just by the actions you take. Want to know what you can do when a black family tries to move into this neighborhood? Don't get in the way of the American dream.
The board huddles and whispers. One of them, Brian, stands.
Dre, not only do we want your family to stay in Sherman Oaks, I nominate you to head a committee on improving our racial diversity.
Committee? You mean meetings? Taking minutes?
Brian gives a cheery thumbs up.
Hold up. Did we just have a meeting that led to another meeting?
You are catching on. Good to have you in charge.
As the group breaks up.
So, it turns out people could acknowledge their racism. Maybe there was promise from my neighbors after all.
Dre and Bo approach Janine as she hands out unicorn coffee drinks.
I'll see what I can do to get your real estate license back.
Don't bother. I'm now training to be a yoga instructor.
Oh, namaste.
Oh, I don't bother learning any of those funny foreign words. But I do like the pretty little dots on the forehead.
Some neighbors have less promise than others.
End of Act 3. Tag. Exterior open house day. Dre heads up the walkway of the open house next door.
Being head of my HOA's diversity committee proved to have some advantages. I could explain to realtors that our HOA demands black buyers get a fair shot. And I could get some of those free homemade cookies.
Interior open house, living room, later. The new female realtor shows Dre around.
You'll be happy to know we already have a black father viewing the house right now, and he loves it.
They go into the interior open house kitchen, continuous, where Charlie chows down on cookies.
Dre, free chocolate chip. You need some milk.
Alarmed, Dre turns to the realtor.
Not this black guy.
Fade to black.